This is Sam Michel, also known as Salvatore Gerard Michel. Oh, I'm not feeling very good today. I'm physically not very good today. I'm not really sure all the reasons. Just not feeling very good today. Physically. I've been homeless, how many months now? I don't know. On and off over 2 years. Homeless. And more than that, if you count Tacloban in the Philippines and Richmond, California, where I was in a homeless shelter on McDonald Avenue, not far from where I used to live, in the hills, in Richmond Hills. It's uncanny, my life, what do you call it, being what we call part of normal society, you know. Previously in Richmond, living not far from a mall, I think it might be Hilltop Mall in Richmond, California. If I stutter or what do you call it, or pause when I try to form sentences, is because I've had several concussions or received several concussions to my head that I believe caused brain damage, but we'll see. You know, I can only know in the future with adequate testing and therapy and medication what kind of damage those concussions have actually done to me over the long run and how severe they are. I want to use this video essay to talk about everything. Nothing, you know, not holding back, not hiding anything out of shame or whatever reasons, or fear of being labeled, you know, something I'm not. Most of my life I have felt not crazy. Most of my life I felt not crazy. But in the last few years, yes. I don't know, it's so hard to describe the feelings and thoughts associated, or what do you call it, over the last couple of years. Just like, what do you call it, not random, but like a combination of so many things that I've read or watched, whether it's science fiction or fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, reading those books some years ago, like approximately 35 years ago, by Tolkien, and Michael Moorcock, Elric of Melniboné. The reason I bring these things up will hopefully become clear later on, but not just Elric of Melniboné, the House of Amber, which deals with immortals, and there's so many, you know, human imagination is incredible, right? It's beautiful, but at the same time, readers like me can get lost in the fantasy, lost in the imagination, and believe that I could be even one of the characters in the story. That's like E.E. Smith's Virgil Sams, who was a Galactic Patrol, like a general in that series called the Lensman series. It's quite famous in science fiction. E.E. Doc Smith, he wrote a book called Triplanetary, which was the first science fiction I've ever read in my life, a gift from my father. He gave to me in Pellston, Michigan, when he's a teacher at a minimum security prison in Pellston. So like I said, there's going to be a lot of references that I bring up. I'm trying to record this at the lowest quality possible so that I can upload this later to YouTube, hopefully without a problem, and we can record as long as we want and pause it whenever we need to, like if I have to use the bathroom or whatever. Again, this is Salvatore Gerard Michel, also known as Sam Michel, and my age is 60. I was born November 9th, 1962, evidently at Mercy Hospital in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm not giving these details so that someone can steal my identity, although if they did steal it, I don't think that they would be able to gain very much since I'm homeless and my credit's ruined several times over. I do this for myself, mostly for myself, and then the small chance that that somebody might be able to help Salvatore down the road, like a therapist in the States, for instance, help Salvatore understand that he's not the only one who heard voices and was guided by, felt manipulated and guided by things that, in his imagination anyways, seemed to fit biblical scenarios, but perhaps have nothing to do with biblical scenarios or characters or the manipulators behind those characters, which we will try to investigate as we go along. In the fairly recent past, I talked about Agents 1 through 6, including Mohammed, but then revised that to include so-called St. Paul, who used to be known as Saul, and did a 180, and he ended up being a Christian, a quite fervent Christian in the early days, and there seems to be a lot of miracles associated with his life and his so-called ministry. One of the things that we came up with recently, when I say we, I mean me, myself, and I, is that human beings are either extremely telepathic and always connecting with each other telepathically and whatnot, or aliens step in, and it sounds preposterous, but it's possible. Hear me out, just hear me out. What if Jesus was an unwitting actor? What if he was an unwitting actor? What if he had no native gifts at all, wasn't born with any special gifts, but except for the fact that prophecies had to be somehow, Jewish prophecy had to be somehow fulfilled. And he did, but not for Jews, for what we call today Christians, which is kind of weird because if he was a so-called Jewish Messiah, which I think I tried to write an essay about recently, he would have been accepted as a Jewish Messiah, but he wasn't. Only by a small minority of Jews. There's a name for a Jew that converts to Christianity, and I forget that. I met one in California while I was homeless there. And again, more than likely, I'm going to be jumping around topic to topic because that's the way my what I call internal venuing happens, how it happens, trying to understand, trying to figure things out, trying to understand what the hell happened to humanity in the past with those so-called agents and the purpose for those agents, and if Salvatore at all fit into that framing. Anyways, at this temporal juncture, I'd have to say no. I don't fit into that stuff. I'm just one of 7 billion plus people on the planet that complains of mental illness, but in a way that is somewhat atypical. I mean, I think there must be patients that hear voices, okay, and they no matter what they do, they can't seem to quiet those voices, whether they try, what we call self-medicating through alcohol or other kinds of drugs, so-called self-medicating. It's dubious at best when you start going down that path. The voices for me are extremely unpredictable, and in the fairly recent past, let's say before 1 month ago, I would have said, they're trying to destroy my life, or they're trying to manipulate me into some unknown direction. Usually I get to a stage of awareness, at least fairly recently, where I think well, there's got to be a reason for everything, Why? Why does there have to be a reason for everything? I don't know. And why do we have to be special? Or why do we have to feel like we're part of a unique species, an important species? Oh, Homo sapiens is really important, right? It's so species-centric to think like that. It's so species-centric when we could be conceivably just a very aware animal, with all these superstitions and whatnot, including psychic powers that may not have anything to do with reality. In my life, much of my life, it seemed like there was this, what do you call it, like a, not mirror reality, but like a spiritual side of life. There's the physical life, and then there's this, what we believe is a spiritual side. At least that's what I think many, if not most non-atheists believe that there's a spiritual side, like an invisible side. And we typically associate that with a soul and an afterlife and stuff. But fairly recently, I've been, guided, let's say, to understand that there is no such thing as a soul, that there is no such thing as an afterlife, that there is, the thing is, when you keep going in that direction, what about the voices in my head? And what about aliens? I mean, what if there's no aliens? I mean, what if it seems like a human framing thing. Every time I get to a certain, a so-called stage of awareness, it's always in human terms. Whether it used to be Heavenly Host, and I was a journalist for the longest time in my imagination, a journalist for the Heavenly Gazette, believe it or not. And then, it's like, the thing is that, what if that was total, absolute fabrication on my part? And, like everything else, like imagining I was Virgil Sams, or, a character from one of my favorite sci-fi series. I mean, it's so obvious to me now that I was crazy, was delusional, but at the same time, no different than anybody else. And that we all have delusions, maybe not delusions of grandeur or delusions of self-importance, but we all have delusional frameworks that we operate under, whether we call it Christianity or Judaism or Islam or whatever you want to call it, possibly even atheism. I mean, think about that for a moment. What if even atheists are delusional? I mean, you would say, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. If atheists are delusional as well, is there any framing that makes any, that's close to reality? Is there any framing at all that's close to reality? I'm going to pause it there for a moment. This is a continuation of the same everything essay, everything video essay. Trying to consider everything, in my life, sort of like on a level playing field. Right now, I don't feel insane. I don't. But much of the last 2 years, yes. I don't think, Mel Blanc. Anyways, the director of, I think it's maybe Spaceballs, and that. Anyways, he's a comedian director, I believe Jewish comedian director. Beloved, and I love the guy. I mean, as a creative artist and comedian. But I think there was one point in his life when he tried. He wanted to know what it's like to be homeless, and he did. He actually lived a homeless life for a while. I don't know how long. It's pretty rare that someone does that, and I certainly was not homeless in my life by choice. I didn't want to be homeless, but at least I'm trying to think now. I think it's like at least 3 years of my life have been as a homeless man. And it's no fun. Okay, it's no fun. I would rationalize at some points, like recently, where I used to live is further north in my own house before, I stupidly left for insane reasons. Anyways, what was I trying to say? About that, why I left. Why, it's too complicated. I mean, it's like I said, it's insane reasons, complicated, insane reasons. My own house that I paid for, that I could have stayed forever at. Just fairly recently, I was like, there's no way I can work on this physics there. Thank goodness I'm here and I have the time, and autonomy to be able to work on the physics, because there's no way that I would be able to work on the physics there. So in other words, my mind was trying to find like a rationalization for being homeless and not there in my own house that I paid for. But it's typical. It's typical for me. It's typical for me to try to find a rational reason for something, one thing or another, especially being homeless, which I do not enjoy. And I do not enjoy feeling like, like an outcast. Or sometimes, a person of ridicule, like an unwilling clown or source of entertainment for people when they don't have anything better to do except make fun of the homeless guy from America. They all know my name here, pretty much. I mean, they all know who I am. I've been, like I said, I've been homeless here in the area for going on to over 2 years now. And, initially, for the longest time, they'd ask me, like, what's wrong with your wife? She only wants money, and I would end up having to defend her. I would end up having to defend her because, it's like they would say, well, she just wants money. And I'm like, well, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's security, and I want to get rid of this fucking crazy guy out of, get rid of this fucking crazy guy out of my house that he paid for. The thing is, man, as you can tell from my conversation so far, I'm not the only one who's trying to understand and rationalize how I got the fuck here as a homeless guy. how the fuck did I get here as a homeless guy? Well, it's complicated, and it's based on delusions, basically. It's complicated, and it's based on delusions. The thing is, the voices in my head, it's like they, right now they're relatively silent. They're letting me do this, okay, without hampering. There's a little bit of white noise in my left ear, but it's not like constantly telling me to shut up or stop what you're doing, or, they're not, right now they're not like saying, Sam, stop, 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 stop. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. But sometimes they are. Sometimes fairly recently I was working on some mathematics, and they just wouldn't stop fucking with me. They just wouldn't stop fucking with me, my cognition. And can you blame those on the concussions? Can you blame that stuff on the concussions? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe a trained psychiatrist and neuroscientists could figure things out better than me. Hopefully I'll be able to consult with, at least one psychiatrist in the States in the near future, and at least one, neurospecialist, and try to understand how the concussions may have contributed to these delusions and voices that I hear all the time. One of the things in psychology, I was a psychology major, that was one of my majors at Michigan State, among three, basically, religious studies and statistics and probability. That's a whole other story there, but we may have time to get to that if we break this up into parts. I may do it in like 1 hour segments, who knows. What's my point? Right now, there's a lot of beautiful truisms, tremendous amount of beautiful truisms that I've been gifted with recently and over the last 2 years, but you have to sort of be selective and grasp those things without the framing, without the delusional framing. Like, for instance, life is too short. Life is too short, man. Life is too short to put blame on others or yourself. Life is too short to put blame on others or yourself for the past. Because why? We were all equal participants of the past. No matter what role anyone had in your life before today, they were all equal participants in your life before today. So why waste time pointing the finger and putting the blame on somebody, whether it's yourself or somebody else, when it just let it go and accept today as the gift that it is. These nuggets of wisdom, these beautiful things have occurred to me, and I wanted to write them down, but, like what? I've got all the physics and mathematics and, all the spiritual stuff I got to write down, in terms of essays, and, like God is a satanic manipulator. I'm not taking that down because it was, that was then, this is now. That was then, this is now. Why should I take it down? Why should I delete it? It's, it's evidence of what I've gone through. And maybe a psychiatrist and a neuroscientist, both, hopefully, one specialist, a psychiatrist with a very experienced psychiatrist, hopefully female, not for romantic, possibilities, but hopefully female, because there's a feminine side. As I said, this is extremely complicated, delusional related, and the whole time I'm trying to make sense and try to understand, and kill mosquitoes that they're trying to suck my blood. because that's their nature. I mean, if I start going into the actual details of each delusion and try to frame it within the context of that particular delusion, and then try to piece it all together, you're going to say, this guy is so fucking insane. I mean, I've never heard anything like this. I mean, it's so bizarre and so complicated, and so it's such a clusterfuck. It's a glimpse, that movie Beautiful Mind. Okay, that movie Beautiful Mind is just, it's like the tip of the fucking iceberg, man. Beautiful Mind is the tip of the fucking iceberg. It doesn't do justice to insanity. Okay, Beautiful Mind, the film, does not do justice to insanity nor brilliance. This is going to sound pretty egotistical. This will sound very egotistical when I say the following. The guy, the actual person that the Beautiful Mind movie was made about, and I don't know his name, of course, because, I didn't commit that to memory. He proposed something in mathematics, or supposedly in mathematics, although it sounds more like dynamical systems than mathematics. He said that there's patterns, recurring patterns, almost like the lambda thing in turbulence, right? Similar to the lambda thing in turbulence, if you know anything about turbulence, there's this thing, lambda phenomenon. It seems to be like a structure within turbulence. And, it also resembles what? It resembles strange attractors. Ooh, that sounds mysterious, doesn't it? I've studied systems in my life. I don't know if you could say that I have a PhD in systems. We're pretty darn close, man. At least the master's level. At least a master's level in system science. Okay. There's one resume where I could say, well, I'm a janitor. I clean up around here. I flush the toilet. I try to do my part. I'm a volunteer for the barangay. And unofficial barangay volunteer, in custodial capacity. Night watchman. But at the same time, at least a master's level in terms of education, and literally, at least a master's level in system science. I could easily teach. Linear systems theory at the graduate level. Now, I might have to consult the teacher's guide, for some details, but I'm pretty sure I could present the gist of it. There's one problem that's typically given on a final exam. It's the double pendulum, and it's related to the strange attractor notion. How can I hold all this shit in my head at the same time with at least three concussions? Okay, when I say at least three, two of them happen in the first detention, the first wrongful detention, in Calbayog, Samar, Philippines. The first wrongful detention. My head was smashed against the concrete at least twice. After that, I blacked out. And there was blood all over my shirt, and they wanted me to wash my own shirt to hide the evidence. I mean, the police officers involved. the police officers on duty at the time, dragged my body out of the cell where there was 15 guys beating the shit out of me. Okay, 14 minus the leader, who evidently was just, letting his minions beat the shit out of me, smash my head against the concrete, practically leave me for dead. They dragged my body out. I'm stuck in detention. The bail is way over anything, what? What was the accusation at that time? What was the accusation? Frustrated robbery. I wasn't trying to steal anything. Frustrated robbery? I wasn't trying to steal anything. Frustrated robbery? I was not trying to steal anything. 50,000 pesos is a huge bail for something that I was not even trying to do. At the time, my daughter was in the hospital. She had 3 times, she had projectile vomiting. She had a really bad fever. She was very ill. Okay? There was at least 3 severe symptoms. Projectile vomiting, high temperature, which, she could get brain injury from the high temperature if not properly treated. And what else? Congestion, severe congestion. Like coronavirus, like corona type congestion. I mean, it was severe. She was really sick, and I could not get any help from anybody in my family. So I was delusional at that point, because why? My daughter's in the hospital, and I have zero money to help her. Zero money to help her. So I go to this, nearby from the bar, and I walked out without paying my tab. The only time that I ever did that, ever in my life, and I'm 60 years old, and it's the only time I ever did it in my life. I said, can I come there, after trying to explain my story, that nobody's helping me with about my daughter in the hospital? Can I come there? She says, yeah, okay. So I said, can I come there? Be there with you for emotional comfort or whatever. She said, yeah. So I try to hop the divider. She sold a load, telephone, cell phone load. So I try to hop the barrier with the phone in my hand, right? Her phone, her load phone in my hand. And she calls her police officer brother. And they subdue me. 3 on 1. How in the fuck am I, a lesbian and her police officer brother and some friends, 3 or 4 on 1. How the fuck am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do with that? So they booked me based on a false charge. A false charge! A frustrated robbery. A false charge. A false charge! A false charge of frustrated robbery. A false charge. Where what happened in detention? My head was smashed against the concrete, smashed at least twice, blackout, not appropriately treated, no CT scan, nothing. And I was supposed to wash my bloody shirt and pretend like nothing ever happened. Why wouldn't a person be fucking insane after this kind of experience? That's just one. That's just one experience. Oh, it happened again. I was thrust into detention randomly by a motherfucking satanic American because I'm begging for medicine because of the voices, and I need the voices to stop tormenting me. And I'm begging everybody and screaming, please let me have medicine. Give me medicine, and they refused. And what did they do? Threw me in detention a second time. Wrongfully. Wrongfully! Wrongfully. Thrown in detention a second time. This is a couple years later, when I'm begging for medicine because of the voices, because of feeling like I'm totally out of control of my life, because the satanic voices won't stop tormenting me, trying to destroy my life. Every time I try to kill myself, they say, stop, stop, stop. Don't stop smashing your head against the concrete wall. Stop smashing. Yeah, but the fuck, it seems like that's what you want me to do. No, but don't stop. Don't smash your head against the concrete wall, because that's not you do. This is not the way it's supposed to be. This is not the way it's supposed to be. This is not. Always equivocating. Never really explaining. So of course I come out with an essay. God the Father, satanic manipulator. Why the fuck would I? So, anyways, yeah, I'm supposed to, the joke part is, hey, so what's up with you? Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, the second time of detention, this is the sick, this is the mentally ill, truly satanically sick satanically mentally ill part. I felt I was in a fucking mind cage. I was in a fucking mind cage, man. While I was in the second detention, the second wrongful detention for attempted trespassing, which I had no intention of ever doing, and was just simply begging for medicine. The American involved, he forced me into detention against my will, and me still thinking I'm doing God's will right at the time, of course. The whole time I'm in detention for 2.5 weeks, I'm exposed to what? That he's fucking his daughter 24/7 and laughing at me the whole time. Figure that one out, man. Why would I do that to myself? I mean, why the fuck would I do that to myself? I mean, can anyone explain to me why I would do all this crap to myself? I mean, in terms of internal venuing and satanic personas. So right now I hear, oh, Sammy Jammy, oh, Sammy Jammy, oh, Sammy Jammy. That's my nickname. Oh, not oh, but But it doesn't say, it's not clear if it's pity or what. It's not clear. It's, oh, Sammy Jammy, it's not clear if it's pity or compassion or what, it's not clear what it is. Oh, Sammy Jammy, oh, Sammy Jammy, oh, Sammy Jammy, oh, Sammy Jammy, oh, Sammy Jammy. It's not clear what, if it's pity or what. So we're around 40 minutes. That's good. I mean, I don't think we have to go. You know, well, I got 20 minutes to describe Thailand. Thailand, I mean, there was about four countries after America. You know, I started out, like I said, in Detroit. Spent much of my life in Michigan. Went to California for a couple of years, then Florida, then Michigan, then South Korea, then New Zealand, and Taiwan, then Thailand, then after Thailand, then what? After Thailand, what? Well, it was basically United States to South Korea to New Zealand to Thailand to I can't remember if it's New Zealand or Philippines. I think New Zealand was in there like twice. You know, 3 months, 3 months, and then so let's see. United States, South Korea, New Zealand, Thailand, Philippines, but I feel like I'm missing something. Well, I visited China a little bit, you know, like Kunming, which is my ex-wife's historical, what do you call it, you know, where her grandfather was from, Kunming. And I love Taiwan, you know, it's Taipei, Taiwan. Way more than Seoul, I mean, way more than San Francisco. If I had money, man, if I had money, I'd probably relocate to Taipei, man. I'd probably relocate to Taipei. Not Seoul. No, Taipei is beautiful. And it's not about this time of year, it's just always beautiful. Taipei is always beautiful. Taipei is always beautiful. I'm so tired of hating myself. I'm so tired of hating myself, or denigrating myself, or apologizing for others that I don't need to apologize for, that I should never apologize for. I've tried so many times to kill myself, you know, because I get to a point where I'm so fucking tired of being manipulated. You know, yeah, that's one of the lines I get is, we know what you're talking about. 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 which is, it's comforting, but at the same time, I mean, it's comforting. Yes, of course it's comforting, but at the same time, it doesn't say anything. Oh, Salvatore. Oh, Salvatore. That's what I'm hearing right now. Oh, Salvatore. Oh, Salvatore. Oh, Salvatore. I got food. I got Spanish-style tomato sauce. I got jelly bread. I got little muffins. I got peanut butter. I got condensed milk. I can make sandwiches. I'm down to 55 pesos. It's just not very, it's about $1 or what? It's about $1.02.50, right? Something like that. I wish that I could make a video for physics. Yeah, we're trying, man. We're trying. I wish I could make a video for physics. I mean, and it would actually be fucking listened to by everyone in physics, both experimentalists and theoretical physicists. And they would like what? Not this one, not this in particular. This is a personal, right? This is a personal one, which is required in order to be able to go forward and actually make a physics video. Like, man, I gave you the keys, man. I gave you the fucking keys. It's not Sam with the car keys. It's not Sam with the car keys. It's humanity with the keys. It's not Sam with the car keys. Oh, the joke was, sorry, Sam with the keys. Sam with the car keys. Sam with the keys. Sam with the car keys. That was the joke in high school. Sam with the keys. Sam with the car keys. I'm trying, I would love to give the keys back to humanity and say, look, at this moment, I feel like the ball's in my court, right? And I want to put the ball back in their court and say, look, here's the keys. Drive. Here's the keys. Drive. Like Miller in Repo Man, drive. Like Miller in Repo Man, drive. Like Miller in Repo Man, drive. He said what? He said, the more you drive, the less intelligent you are, but he did it in the end, right? Well, that's another one, right? Repo Man. Fight Club, Jupiter Ascending, and Repo. So we can't do that one. Down to Fight Club, Jupiter Ascending, and Repo Man. When an astronaut talks to another astronaut, they say, Godspeed. Godspeed. We're the mission to Mars. Well, and also what's the other one? The other one. What's the other one about the Mars thing? John Carter. John Carter of Mars. Those are classic sci-fi. Okay, so we're going to end this. Oh, Hodor. other than the Game of Thrones and the Mother of Dragons, Emilia, Emilia, Emilia. Oh, come on, look. Emilia, not Emilia. Emilia, that's the word. Emilia. Fuck, man. Look, the Mother of Dragons, okay? The actress playing the Mother of Dragons. The actress playing the Mother of Dragons is what? What's her name? The actress, see, I'm having trouble here. The actress playing the Mother of Dragons, her name is... The actress playing the Mother of Dragons, her name is... The actress playing the Mother of Dragons, her name is... She's done some really wonderful movies recently. All right, so that actress and Keira Knightley was in Love Actually. Also Scarlett Johansson. Lovely, all three lovely actresses. Emilia Clarke, that's it. Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke. And Scarlett Johansson. And also Keira Knightley. I'm not sure how to spell it. Emilia Clarke, Scarlett Johansson, and Keira Knightley. Wonderful actresses, who I thought I was, along with whom, like Tay and Ariana Grande, Ari Grande. I thought I was telepathically connected to, and I'm like, it shows you how fucking insane I am. Well, I couldn't get What Planet Are You From? It's a cool movie, man. If you can get it, watch it. What Planet Are You From? Awesome movie, man. Awesome, beautiful, beautiful movie. Fight Club, Jupiter Ascending, Repo Man, Mission to Mars, John Carter. Really cool stuff. Yeah. Okay, we got about 7 minutes. So anyway, God bless America, my home field. Bastante, right?